go on a date, I never know exactly how to handle it, what to do, or even to decide what to do for the first date. Like, I don't know what the best activity is for the first date. I don't know exactly how to go about it. And then when I'm in the middle of it, I'm like, does she even like what I'm saying or what's going on right now? Like, it's a big mystery to me. It has been for years.
Well, I don't think.
Do you feel the same way sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to look at it as it's a numbers game, right? And you just got to look at it as a way to meet somebody. Maybe you make a new friend. Maybe you meet a new, relationship. But don't take it too serious and just be light and easy.
So by taking it that way, where you look at it as just an opportunity to meet a new person, you're not putting as much pressure on yourself.
Right.
Where it's like, I've got to make this work. I can't screw this up because I've got to find a way to close the deal and get that second date.
Right, because that's not going to come across well, is it? No. But so the first tip I have is to be a gentleman. So I don't know what you think about that, but I know over the years, the characteristics of men in courting has changed over time. And I think a lot of guys think maybe women don't really desire that or want that, or maybe are even put off by it. And I just want guys to know that I don't think that's true for most women. I don't think any woman would come back from a date and be like, oh my God, he was such a gentleman. He opened the door for me. He opened my car door. He walked on the side of the street, walked me to my car and after the whatever happy hour. I mean, I don't think a woman would ever be put off by that. And I think what men have to realize is that women come to the table, they've already had other relationships. They've already dated probably, quite a bit in their life. And there are other men who are gentlemen, right? And so really you're competing with her past experiences and somebody else has potentially raised the bar.
Yeah.
So it may not be that she's going to write you off by any means by not being a gentleman, but why not do it? It's easy and it can stand out from those who aren't doing those great things that really can make her feel, like a woman.
Okay. This is a great topic. So I grew up, you and I have very similar life experience. I can only speak to, the way that I was taught as I grew up. When I go on a date, if I ask someone on a date, I always do the same thing. I open the door, I walk someone to their car after the date, I pay for dinner or whatever activity we're going to do. And I always try to operate like that. So what you're saying is that's not a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing, Chad. That's a great thing, but it's not always common.
Okay.
So that's why I want to establish it.
So if you have I guess what you're saying is that let's say you have the rare individual who doesn't really want you to open the door for them or necessarily pay for them. They're not going to be offended because you're trying to be a gentleman.
I would hope not. And I really don't think there's very many women like that. But I think
what are the chances that they haven't been treated by a gentleman? Like that they might be taken back or think it's really nice that, hey, this person's going out of their way.
A younger woman, maybe that is the case. She is not accustomed to really be treated like a lady.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think she'd be put off by it by any means.
Yeah.
I would hope that if somebody was feeling like that was not the right thing to be doing, that they would, subtly make it like, oh no, don't worry about it. I get my own doors or something, some comment like that.
Yeah.
But I think that for the most part, most women, you're going to get points by being a gentleman at every turn that you can.
That's great. And in your experience, in your dating life, when a man is being a gentleman, you appreciate it.
Definitely. Yeah. So that is number one. Number two is make her feel desired. And that's before, during, and after the first date.
Okay. What are some ways that guys can operate to indicate to the lady that she's desired?
So you set a plan. You've asked the person out. They accept. Let her know, like, hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Like just those simple words. It's like, oh, okay. Like he wants to see me. That's great. When you see her, like, make her feel important, make her feel heard and that you're curious about her. Try to find out what she's, passionate about, what she's interested in, like maybe something she's working on right now that, can also put her in the seat to be the one, talking, which can alleviate some pressure from you. Because some people, when they're nervous, they talk more. And sometimes that doesn't work for them. So, ask her questions, be curious, and let her get excited about something that she wants to share. And give her compliments, make her feel good about herself so that she's like, hey, I really feel good when I'm with this person and I want to see more of them.
That's great. So maybe not staring at your phone, not being distracted.
Definitely. And then, at the end, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'd really love to see you again. And that is going to, leave her feeling like, okay, I think that went well. I think, I showed up and he acknowledged, like that I'm worth seeing again. And it just makes somebody ready to have a second date.
Now, if you take that approach where you say, hey, I'm really looking forward to it, I would love to see you again. Like, you don't think that's being too easy? Like, that's a good approach? Or should you play it a little more coy in terms of?
Well, I know there's, the dating games can get really exhausting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you call, right away? Do you wait? I mean,
but these are things that guys talk about all the time. Like, dude, don't make it so obvious, man. Don't do that.
Everyone's different on what turns them on or what they want, how they want to be treated. But I think,
what do you think a woman wants to hear in that situation?
I think that women want to, one, feel confident. They don't want to be sweating it out. Like, does he like me? Does he want to see me again? Like, so just establishing that towards the end of the date is great. Not having somebody being too overtly anxious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, let's do it tomorrow. Or what are you doing 2 days? Or, you don't
make
them
pressure,
miss you a little bit, right? So don't seem too available.
Yeah.
But also, people are a little put off with people that are doing online dating. People know that potentially they're seeing other people, but nobody really wants to feel that way. So don't make it too obvious. Like, especially lined up your dates
with
one after another, which is not really a good thing I don't think, to line up, one after another. But in the same day, I'm sure you've heard stories like that, like, oh, I got to leave now because I've got to go across town and have another online date. But,
yeah, no one wants to hear that. You got to do what you got to do, but I don't need to know that. But I like that. So at the end of the night, you have a good time. It's like, hey, I'd love to see you again. You don't have to bring up a day or what time you're going to meet for the second time, but just let it be known like, hey, I'd like to spend some more time with you.
Right. And another thing too is go into the date with like a strategy in mind. So if you think you're going to want to see this person again, think about, well, what are some things we could do on a second date? And then work that into the conversation. So, maybe it's talking about she likes pickleball, or maybe you already know that from her online profile, or maybe it's some street fair that's happening next weekend or something. Somehow find a way to work that into the conversation so that you can follow up at the end with, hey, did you want to go try to, show me all your skills on the pickleball court next week? And just playfully work that in and get a reading. But the one thing I think some men will read in too much to the response they get from something like that, right? They feel like they're putting themselves out there, and what if she says no? So, you don't want to put her on the spot and be specific. Like, okay, well, let's put it on the calendar, but just throwing it out there, and then you can work the logistics out over a text, and then to feel like she could back out if she needs to.
I kind of like that approach, because if you say, hey, we should get together and play pickleball sometime, or I'd love to see you again, you're just letting it be known that I would like to see you again, but you're not putting the pressure on her or putting her on the spot in the moment at the end of the date, the first date, to be able to make a decision.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
All right. So number one is be a gentleman. Number two, how do we word number two?
Make her feel desired.
Make her feel desired. And what is number three?
And number three, I think, is the most important, and that is to be the masculine energy. So it takes two to dance, a follow and a lead, right? And same with the dance of courting and relationships. And so what it means to be a masculine energy, it doesn't mean being ultra assertive or controlling. It means making her feel taken care of, making it feel like you have things in control. And that puts a woman at ease, and it makes her feel and be more in touch with her feminine energy. So the way that shows up is, from the very beginning, like making the plan. So deciding, first of all, how much you want to invest in this date. So if you've never met the person, you're not sure if there's chemistry, maybe you don't want to spend much or anything at all, but maybe you are willing to, pay for happy hour or something. So decide that, and then give her some choices of things that you're comfortable paying for. So that could be coffee, it could be a hike, or going to the farmer's market or something like that. So establish some options for her to choose from, and then choose based on where she'll be coming from. So if she's coming from work, she's coming from home, wherever, so that you can now narrow down options of places to go within that. So let's say you're going to go to happy hour. You find out what part of town, and then you find some really great places. Use, Google reviews or friends or Yelp or whatever to find some good spots.
Yeah, if she works and lives in Gresham, you probably don't want to set up a date out in Beaverton.
Right. That would be rude. And pick something just a little bit closer to her. You don't need to go exactly where she is if you're quite a ways away from each other, but, make it a little closer to her than to you. So that's the first thing. Just really establishing, taking control of the date. So then when you actually go to the date, the logistics of being in control. So if you're at a restaurant, you're having coffee or you're having happy hour, managing the service. If the wait staff hasn't come over, being able to summon them. And I learned something from an ex about the power position. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
I had not either. And I didn't really care for we were in a relationship. So it was how he delivered it maybe was a little less smooth, but he had a great point. So the power position in a date is the person that's facing out to the restaurant so they can summon the waiter. So if you need the bill, if you need another glass of wine or whatever, that you're in a position to be able to get their attention. But at the same time, if you're in a restaurant where that power position is really the desirable position, the other position they're facing a wall.
Yeah.
Then don't take the best seat because she's not going to understand, and nor do you want to explain the power position.
Yeah, it's probably not a good first date
Not
topic.
good for the first date. But recognize that if you have your back to the restaurant, that you're going to have to turn and potentially, maybe even get up out of your chair to get service, because sometimes service is lacking. And so if you see that your date is so thirsty over her drink that she really needs a refill, you need to be on top of that and just be in charge. I have a story actually about that. Is a date I had where I walked in and his back was to me as I walked in, which I thought was a strange position because he was waiting for me. And I wasn't late. He was early. He had already ordered a glass of wine. And I think arriving early is another thing that's both masculine energy and being a gentleman is saying, I'll come a little early to make sure we get a table.
Yeah.
Or I'll make the reservation. But he was sitting with his back as I came into the door. So I found him and he had already ordered a drink and was quite a ways through it. Yeah. And again, I was on time. So he had just gotten there early. So he did that part right. He got there early and got the table. But so when I sat down, he'd have his wine. And I sat there for like 15 minutes with no wine, no glass, no drink. Right. And he just did not clue in. He might have been nervous, but I'm just putting this out there. So if somebody's in this type of situation.
He wasn't in a power position.
You're right. He wasn't in the power position, number one. But two, he didn't even think about it. So even if you're not in the power position, you can get up or you can be concerned about the fact that
you would think the first thing I would have asked
is brought to the table.
Hey, what would you like to drink?
So yeah. So and the other thing actually following up on that is, and no, he didn't get a second date. In case you're wondering, he drank his wine and then I'm halfway through mine and the waiter comes by and it's like, would you like another drink? And he's like, yes. And he should have asked me as well. Oh, would you like another drink? Both my date and the waiter, neither of them did. So the waiter comes back with a carafe of the 8 ounces or whatever, and puts it on the table, fills him up a little bit. And at that point, he should have offered me some of his wine, which was the same wine I was drinking, and he did not. So these are just things being in tune to making sure that your date is being taken care of. That really puts you in that masculine energy position that makes her feel taken care of and really grounded and safe around you. So
that's terrific. Now, the other question I have is, what are the best activities for a first date?
Well, again, it's just going to depend on how much money you want to spend. And I do just want to add one thing about that is if you go into this saying, I'm going to pay, and that bill comes, you need to grab it right away.
Yeah.
Because it is more than nerve-wracking for a woman to see the bill sitting there on the table. So the man might have every thought that he's going to be paying for it. He just doesn't think to take it in front of him.
Yeah.
But the woman sitting there the whole time going, okay, do I need to reach for a card? How does this work? And it's distracting. And it's just such a relief when a guy just takes the bill. And I think this is the same in business meetings. Anytime, if you ever plan on taking the bill, take it right away.
Take the bill.
Oh, and the last thing I want to say about the masculine energy is showing up with confidence. Masculine energy always feels like they're in control. Now, you might not be feeling that confident.
Never. No, not.
And part of the way you can come across as confident is sitting up straight, not allowing yourself to fidget. If you're pulling on your skin or you're kicking your foot or tapping your fingers, things like that. Just, be aware of the propensity you have to do these things and just be present in the moment to resist.
Yeah.
And by letting her light up about things she's comfortable in, it will just take some of that pressure off you too, to think about what you want to be talking about. But you asked about what are some good things to be doing. Once you establish what your budget is, if you don't want to, you can do a lot of things without spending a lot of money. I think going on walks and a hike is really great. And it's very casual. You don't have to sit there and just stare at each other the whole time. You can get somebody's energy and see if there's chemistry in a casual way. And if nothing else, you're getting steps in, which is great. It's not a waste of time. So I think that is a great, grabbing coffee, doing that is a great first date.
I love walks and movement. I think that's kind of nice. But for you personally, Like what settings do you enjoy the most for a first time when you're getting a chance to know someone?
Well, those are the two. Those are the things
those
I
are the
like.
things.
And then, well, I don't think anyone wants to be stuck with somebody
Yeah.
for more than an hour, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because if you meet them for the first time and you're like, yeah, this isn't.
well, yeah, and then it's like I don't think dinner is a good idea unless you've already met the person. Like I just don't. I think that is like way too much money to spend on somebody you don't want to have a second date with, and too much time. But I think also setting the time. So when you come to the date, make it clear, like, oh, okay, I'm just going to set my timer because my parking's only fed for the next hour.
Yeah.
Right. So that sets an end time that you can always extend. Because if you like the person, you'd be like, okay, well, do you want to go hit this other place or do this or whatever? And then you can I'll just need to feed my meter, right? But make sure you have that kind of way to get out, but know that you can always extend it.
I always just roll the dice and hope I don't get a ticket because I hate paying for parking.
Well, whether you pay or not, just let her know that you've got to go in case you do want to go.
That's great.
And then setting the timer is good anyway, whether you're not sure if you like the person or not, but that just helps it so you're not sitting there looking at your phone all the time or your watch.
Yeah.
Because that makes somebody feel like you're not present or you're ready to go.
Yeah, if someone looks down at their watch, that's unfortunate.
But if you're just looking at like your parking, or you have to be to a meeting or somewhere else,
yeah,
just let them know, like, oh, I set the timer, because I have to leave by this time, or I got to pay my parking or whatever it is, so that they anticipate that this timer is going to be going off. And then give yourself like 10 minutes so you're not racing out right afterwards.
Okay, this is perfect. So let's walk through the three again. So number 1 was be a gentleman. Number 2 was make her feel desired. Number 3 was masculine energy.
Be the masculine energy.
Be the masculine energy. And then number 4, even though it's not one of the three, the additional tip would be once you establish, the budget and what you want to accomplish, then try to pick things that would be, closer to the area where she's going to be based on work, home, or whatever.
Yeah, just being conscientious and being a gentleman, being considerate. I mean, that goes a really long way. Again, because you're competing with other men who she's had relationships with, or she's dated, or is potentially dating at the same time. So the little things that you do that stand out from the rest are going to make it more likely that you're going to get that second date or third date and fourth date, etc.
Excellent. Celeste Trapp, Harem in studio. As always, I appreciate the time. That was good.
Thanks, Chad.
Good tips. I certainly need that. And I got to remember that. Like, what are the tics that I'm doing? Am I chewing my fingernails or the things I do when I'm nervous? I'm a fingernail chewer.
I'm sure you're very smooth.
Well,
you're on the air, live on the radio. How could you not?
Conversation's not a problem. I can talk very easily, but I like that. The movement is good. And you're right. Dinner sometimes can be a trap if you're meeting someone for the first time because it's too long and it can be dicey.
Right. And but some people actually do meet in the wild. And they already know they have chemistry, or they already knew each other, or maybe they had dated 10 years prior, or, so that's a different story. But if it's really somebody out of the gate that you don't know, yeah, I would not recommend dinner. And the one thing too is there are restaurants and bars that have walk-up service. So if you're like, I do want to do happy hour, but I'm not sure if I want to do 2 drinks each, maybe just 1, you can go to the walk-up counter bars where you buy the 1 drink.
Yeah.
And then if she's like, oh, fumbling for her credit card, you're like, no, I got it. And then you can say, oh, but, playfully, like, oh, you can get the second one if we decide to have one. And then, of course, if it comes around to the second drink, then it's going back up to the bar and ordering again. And then she's going to now say, okay, well, it's my turn. If you like her, it doesn't mean you have to take her up on it, right?
Yeah.
So if she offers, you can say, oh, thank you so much. Maybe another time or next time.
Yeah.
And just keep putting her off like that. And sometimes, when you get further into relationship, which we'll have those conversations later, you can have a different conversation, but we'll leave that one hanging.
All right. That's awesome. Celeste Trapp, appreciate your time as always, Celeste.
Thanks, Chad.